This is a deck profile for my Stunfisk V Pokemon deck. 4 Stunfisk, 2 Zacian, 2 Bronzong, 2 Bronzor, and a Crobat. You play 4 of the Stunfisk for consistency. You want to see it opening up. Stunfisk is kind of the main focus of the deck. Deals 60 damage with Trapping Bite, and if it's damaged during your opponent's next turn with an attack, your opponent takes an additional 120 damage, and its ability is for each metal energy attached to this Pokemon gains 20 HP. Has 4 retreat, a weakness to fire, a resistance to grass, and 200 HP. Usually the setup for Stunfisk will be to have a Cape of Toughness attached, giving it 250 HP, and then 2 energy, giving it 290. That'll be the general setup for it. Zacian is kind of there as an attacker to snipe your opponent's low HP Vs or VMAXs or things that are in the way. 230 HP, but it can attack the next turn, is extremely strong. You'll also be usually attaching the Cape of Toughness or sometimes a Vitality Band to either this or the Stunfisk, because a lot of the math between the two is 10 short in some weirder matchups. Intrepid Sword just adds a lot of consistency to the deck. It can search, well, it doesn't really search, it just draws you 3 if you're in a tight situation. Usually you'll want to go first, set up a Bronzor, have a Stunfisk on the bench, then Zacian Intrepid Sword. Get some extra energy in play, and get a draw. The Bronzor and the Bronzong, I run a 2-2. You're not going to be playing more than 1 per game, probably. I just play the 2-2, so there's less of the chance of getting prized. Usually what you'll do is you'll use the metal transfer to build up a very big Stunfisk with a lot of metal energy attached to it. Or you can spread it out to Zacian and just make sure you're getting the consistent attacks off. You play 1 Crobat just because a lot of the times you'll need the additional draw to get out of a tight hand. Alright, I'm going to move on to the item cards that I play. Pretty standard. 4 Quick Ball for the search. You can discard your metal energy to get them back with Metal Saucer later on. The 2 Evolution Incense to search out the Bronzong. It's pretty important to get that early to mid in the game so that you can get the use out of it. Because most of the times your opponent will knock it out late game, so you want to get set up as fast as possible with it. Play 4 Crushing Hammer. It's really important to slow down your opponent when you can. So flipping heads on any Crushing Hammers and hitting the right energies at the right time is really important. I've had games where I flip 3, 4 heads. I've also had games where I hit 4 tails, so it's really inconsistent. It'll either win you games or lose you games, but slowing down your opponent is super powerful. Metal Saucer, another amazing card. Like I said, you can quick ball metal energies away, Metal Saucer them back up, and then Bronzong them to wherever you need if it's on the active and you need the energy there. That's how you get it there. Play 3 Switch and 1 Escape Rope. A lot of the times you'll be switching Zacian to get its attack back in play, or to switch into a Stunfisk to tank. The Escape Rope is really good, sometimes at disrupting turn 1. You'll play the Escape Rope to switch them out if you only have 1 in play. It's a good way to kind of mess up their flow if they don't have a way to switch that out in their turn. Next I'll go over the tools I play. Play the 4 Cape of Toughness. This is really good. It'll get your Stunfisks big, it'll protect your Zacians longer. A lot of Vs can't take out a Stunfisk, or not a Stunfisk, a Zacian that has a Cape of Toughness on it. So it'll take your opponent a couple more turns to knock it out. I do play 1 vitality band with that. Like I said earlier, the 10 extra damage can have a pretty big impact on the game. I didn't play this for a couple months, but I just added it and it's been working out nicely. A lot of games it won't come up, but sometimes you do need it. So having a Stunfisk or a Zacian that has the vitality band is pretty important. I do play 4 Crystal Cave as my stadium. Path to the Peak destroys this deck. You do not want to have a path in play against your Stunfisk or your Zacian. You need the Intrepid Sword and you need the additional HP. So having 4 Crystal Cave is just beneficial because you get the heal of 30 on everything once per turn, but also to bump your opponent's stadiums. I play 4 Marnie, 4 Research, and 3 Boss's Orders as my supporters. Marnie's just really good at setting your opponent's hand to 4 if they have a larger hand than you. Professor's Research I also run a 4 of. Getting a draw of 7 is incredibly strong. You're going to be wanting to see a lot of different hands with this deck. And the Boss's Orders is for your Stunfisk if you want to hit a certain Pokemon or get something out of play, or if you want Zacian to take a knockout on something with lower HP or a V that you don't want in play for very long. I'm going to go over the energies next. Play 4 Coding Energy. This is really strong. You won't have to worry about any of the rogue fire decks right now. It eliminates the weakness. Bronzong also does switch it around, so you can't get it with Metal Saucer, but it is really important to have. I do play the 7 Metal Energy as well. You just want to have a lot of Metal Energies. I was running 8 at one time. I took one out for the Vitality Band so that I could get the additional damage. But seeing a lot of energy is really good for getting a large Stunfisk and having the additional energy to get a attacking Zacian out. Overall, this deck is pretty consistent. I've done very well at my local tournaments with it. Getting second as my best placement. So close to getting first. It really struggles against Boss's Orders or Escape Rope because it eliminates the Stunfisk effect with its attack. So you gotta watch out for that. You gotta manage or just play around your opponent's Boss's Orders. If I was looking at cutting anything, you might want to go to a 3rd Stunfisk if you want to risk consistency. Adding into some Fan of Waves to get rid of your opponent's special energies is very strong. Definitely want to start playing that soon. Maybe cutting 1 more Metal Energy for an additional card, maybe a 3rd Evolution Incense, because it is kind of hard to find the Bronzong in your mid-game, which is kind of where you want to get it. It's kind of hard to get off sometimes. But overall, this deck is pretty good. I'll try to get some games recorded of ptcgo. I have seen a lot of success there as well. Alright, see ya.